What's up, everybody? I'm Chase Lee reporting for DallasMovieScreens.com, and I got another movie to review for you guys, and that would be Unfriended Dark Web. I've always wanted to say it like that, and you can just take that little soundbite and make it into a GIF. You're welcome, Internet. Anyways, this is a sequel to the 2014 hit film, because it was a hit film. It was made for like $1 million, and I think grossed like 60 or 70 worldwide. I don't know. Fact check me down below and tell me I'm dumb. Anyways, the first one was very successful, and it was from Blumhouse. And this one is also from Blumhouse. And the first one has the premise of making a horror film all through a Skype call. That was the premise. And on the surface, it seems kind of dumb. But I got to be honest with you, I actually like the first one. I think it's a solid horror film. It's not the best. The acting is iffy. The writing is one-dimensional. But the actual filmmaking and editing technique of keeping you glued to a computer screen is pretty noteworthy. So I like it. It's a solid one. So the sequel is also from Blumhouse, like I said, and is written and directed by Steven Susko. And if I mispronounce that name, don't worry. You can just throw this video on the dark web and have the dark web whatever with me. Anyways, it is written and directed by that gentleman, and this film follows a guy named Matthias, and he is at a coffee shop. He steals a laptop. And he boots up, and that's how the movie starts. He's uploading a software program on there to kind of help someone special in his life. I won't reveal that because it's a very interesting subplot. And so he gets on a Skype call with his friends because it's game night, and he opens up some folders because his memory is getting a little too stuffed, and so he's trying to see what's on there. He opens up one of the folders, and a lot of torturous videos come up, and stuff that will freak you out because this stuff actually exists. And, of course, through the Skype call, the person in charge of the laptop hacks the computer and is like, if you get off the Skype call, call the cops. We've seen this premise before. We will kill your friends. We will kill you, yada, yada, yada. So I was actually excited for this one because I like the first one. It's a solid horror film, like I said. And the trailer was good to the sequel, and I was looking forward to it. And I got to tell you, after watching it, I like it. It's my sick, twisted mind likes this one maybe a hair more than the first one, but I like this one. It's another solid addition into this kind of Skype franchise. I mean, who would have thought we'd be sitting here saying, you know what, the Skype call movie is not bad. Now, let's get real and break this down. So I must preface before I even get into my review. This is a disturbing movie. It is. There's a lot of dumb parts in the movie, but since the dark web is actually grounded in reality, there's a lot of stuff to kind of play with, and the dark web sandbox, if you will. There's a lot of routes you can go. This movie goes down a lot of dark routes, and there's a lot of stuff that I could not believe they were getting away with in a studio film. Now, you're probably sitting there going, Chase, don't you watch like Evil Dead and stuff? Like, there's obviously like more gruesome and horrific, stuff out there. It's like true, but since the dark web is actually a real thing, it creeps you out when you watch some of this stuff in this movie versus like the first one where it deals with mostly possession, supernatural stuff, which, to be fair, the sequel kind of does too. The dark web is inherently creepier. It's more disturbing and more grounded, like I said. So I'm just giving you a warning. If you do not want to be saddened or upset after this movie, do not watch this movie. Pass on it. But if you're a sick, twisted person like me, you're going to like this movie quite a bit, especially if you're a fan of the first one and if you're a fan of horror or even bad horror films, depending on how you look at it. So what I really enjoyed about what writer-director Steven Susko did was he pretty much follows the same pattern as the first one. We start out with the computer booting up. This guy's trying to type in some passwords, and then we're off. From start to finish, it is nothing but a thrill ride. It is literally cyber anxiety. That's exactly what this movie is. And I think what Steven does is that he plays with the kind of dark web, aspects, and really grounds this movie in a better reality than the first one. And so with that kind of creepy, dark darkness in the back of your mind while you're watching it. I think what Steven does is he makes a compelling movie, just like the first one. I think it's edited super sharply. There's not that many jump scares. I was actually kind of surprised by that. A lot more unsettling things to where, Steven might show you something, not have like any loud music or noise, and it will garner way more of a reaction than, a bump or, like a cat walking across a window and then the violin. That was not how a violin sounds. Anyways, I really like his direction in this one and the editing as well. I think it's solid work. I think if you can make a movie in a Skype call for 80 to 90 minutes, because these movies are kind of short, if you can make a Skype call interesting, I have to give you praise. I have to. Even if it's dumb, I have to give you praise. Because that is such an interesting way to do a horror film. You can't maneuver that much. It's literally a computer screen. I'm looking at mine right now. Like, just even imagine making a movie with this box around it. Sounds awful. But it works. My anxiety was running 100,000 miles an hour. It is suspenseful. It is thrilling. It takes ups and downs. A lot of stuff catches you off guard. Steven throws some curveballs at you and just like, hey, listen, you thought the first one was dark. Here you go. Here's a death that's going to like have your jaw drop to the floor. You're like, they put that in this movie. That's crazy. Anyways, so good job on a directing and editing standpoint. Now here's where the film kind of falters, just like the first one. But I still will give it a solid praise. The writing is, I think, a little bit better than the first one. There's a lot of moving components that keep the story fresh and interesting as this one moves along rather than the first one. Because on this one, we're dealing with a stolen laptop. We're dealing with someone that needs to retrieve that laptop. We're dealing with like some cult members in the dark web trying to stop this. We're dealing with main characters, relationships with his friends and maybe girlfriend or whatever. It's a lot more compelling than the first one because the first one was all between I think 6 or 5 people and like this ghost account. Now we get some of the ghost counts again, but it's there's a lot more moving parts into this story that I found way more exhilarating than the first one. Now, where this movie falters, some of the dialogue is not good. We have actors and actresses shouting out this really bad, just basic dialogue you kind of see in studio horror films nowadays where it's not really anything subtle or anything intriguing. It's just, it's just really bad sentences coming out of these characters' mouths. And you're like, okay, can we get to them getting picked off, whatever? So the writing is a little iffy there. And also, I have the same kind of issue as I did with the first one, is that since you are kind of confined into this rectangle, you can't really have like any deep characters. You're going to have characters that are there. You're going to have a couple to be like, oh, here's a story from my past. Ba 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 ba. Whoa, killer, I'm dead. I mean, that's basically what you can do. So there's really no character development. It's just like, it's basic writing 101. It's like, just give us like a little nugget about their life and then move on type of deal. So writing and concept and story, good. Dialogue and execution sometimes not so good. The acting from this movie is actually not bad. There are a couple of key players in the Skype call that are trying too hard, and they feel like they're making the dialogue sound more important than it is, and you're like, chill. This is Unfriended Dark Web. But there are some people in this movie that generally give a good performance. I was actually shocked. The main guy and, oh man, who was it? I forgot. Anyways, the main guy and one of the other people actually gave a pretty good performance. I believed everything that they were saying, even when it was bad dialogue. I actually enjoyed the gentleman that played Mateus. He carried the movie. That's not easy to do. Once again, you're on a Skype call. It's not easy. So I thought he did a really good job, and I thought there were a couple others that really sold this type of fear and paranoia that they are supposed to have when you have someone coming after you in a Skype call, like, oh, we're not supposed to get off the Skype call, but I can't turn around. It's like, oh, what's going on type of deal. So a lot of them sold a lot of, facial acting, a lot of action acting, but speak, dialogue, but some of the acting was actually kind of impressive, especially for this movie. So I think I hit on all the points I needed to. Now, this actually dropped today. I'm filming a review on Wednesday at 7:05 p.m. Central Standard Time. This dropped today. Apparently, there are 2 endings to the film. 2. I know which one I saw. I'm curious to know what the other one is. So when I find out, when someone leaks it online or whatever, I'm just curious, because Blumhouse has never done that. This guy's crazy. That's why I love him, because he's just like, listen, we're making an Unfriended sequel. It's like, it's an okay movie, but we gotta mix it up a little bit. We gotta do 2 endings. So whatever you get in the theater, you're gonna get, and you're not gonna know there's no one out there. So I don't know. Could be genius marketing, could not be. But I saw one of the endings, and the way it ended, I actually liked my ending. It was kind of cool because you felt like it was done, and then it kind of carried over just a little bit more, kind of rolled over into a little extra footage, and you're like, that wasn't bad. I like it. So, listen, is this movie going to win any Oscars? Hell no. Is it going to go down as one of the best movies in the next 10 years? No. It's going to be remembered for its premise or gimmick, the way you, however you want to look at it, but it works for me. This one works despite all of its issues I have with it. I was entertained from start to finish, and Universal, if you want to quote me on that, it is cyber anxiety. It really is. So I'm going to give Unfriended Dark Web a solid B. So what did you guys think of this? I know a lot of people don't even like the first one. So if it's stupid or whatever, if I'm stupid, please comment down below and let me know. And as always, guys, I'm Chase Lee reporting for DallasMoviescreens.com. And tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.